Let's start with some words of wisdom from the victim herself.
If you have low self-esteem, this is no time to be looking for Mr. Correct because you're vulnerable to anybody out there that's preying on someone to hide behind.
That's a great advice. If you don't love yourself,
how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
She was full of good intentions and even gave some whom she wasn't interested in physically a chance. She ended up falling in love, but flowers and a brand new car were not enough to hide a dark secret he was hiding from her. In the toilet! Let's just say if your partner is too mysterious and they pull the I work for the CIA/FBI card, just run the f*** away from them. Kathi was a beautiful girl from California battling a demon. Alcohol. But she wasn't alone, she had a child to look after. As a single mom, she pulled up her mom jeans and quit her addiction. In 1980, her being 30 and her kid 9, moved to Denver to start a new life. She found a job as a waitress and she also found herself in the gaze of the busboy named Steven.
He followed me around like nobody's business. I didn't really think too much of him. He sent me a dozen roses at work, and although I wasn't attracted to him, I really began to like his heart and his spirit.
Steve sounds like a hopeless romantic kind of guy. He won Kathi over and they started dating. But it wasn't just flowers. Steve was escalating his affection with extravagant and questionable gifts.
My daughter came in and she said, "Mom, you gotta come out here." And in the driveway was a copper-colored Porsche. She goes, "Mom, Steve gave you that car."
Where did the money come from? And if you have extra cash to buy a car, why are you working as a busboy at a restaurant? It cannot be for fun. Customer service is like living in perpetual limbo. Hell will be an improvement. He had a reason though. Tell me in the comments if you would have believed him.
His father was an artist and made chess pieces, and many of them were made out of gold. And he had them turned into gold bars because he was going to sell them. Steve put the gold bars in his toilet tank. That was pretty weird.
Totally not suspicious. Steve said it was because banks cannot be trusted, but so can you, babe. Well, it doesn't matter because Kathi ate it all and got married to Steve. You will think that before joining your life to someone else, the least you can do is to know a good chunk of this person's past, present, and future, but in Kathy's case, it was different.
He said he had worked for the CIA, and apparently he had killed this guy in a bar. The person he killed was a civilian, which was something that you don't do.
That's right, Steve. You don't go killing people. And quite a story to hide to your wife, no? It's kind of important to know if your partner is a murderer. I would be upset if my husband hid his poor credit, let alone a full-ass corpse.
He told me that he was planning on blackmailing the government and that he wrote an expose who he was supposed to assassinate by orders of our government.
What would you have done after hearing your partner say that to you? Remember, this is the 80s, so no internet. Kathi believed it all and forgave him for lying. 3 years passed and the two of them were doing fine. Until it wasn't fine anymore. Kathi went on a trip, and when she returned home, her car wasn't there. Steve's excuse was that the CIA finally found him and is impounding his belongings. The car included. Kathi loved that car apparently because she kicked him out. He could come back once he was completely done with this CIA shenanigans.
He says they're going to recruit me to join the Black Op again. They may try to blackmail me and say, if you don't do it, we're going to kill her. We're going to kill your family.
That sounds like a potential alibi to me. Well, he went to Florida to speak to his boss, and days later, Kathi gets a call from him saying it was done. He went back home, but he brought no paper trail nor any type of proof that he's no longer an agent.
My real name is Eric Stone, and I'm not lying about that. And I was building up the point that I cussed probably for an hour. Man, I can still feel it raging.
I don't know if I would do the same to someone who has uninstalled someone else, you know? But okay. Steve really wanted his story to be believed, so he took her to his childhood town. He stopped at his parents' house, only it was a vacant lot, and explained how the house was burned to crisp. They also went to the cemetery to see his parents' grave, but they were not there. That damn CIA stole his parents just for the lulz.
He's on the ground and he's pulling at the grass. He begins to sob, screaming. Tears are coming out of his eyes. He's wailing.
She believed him again. Then they went to his high school where Steve showed his yearbook. And there he was, with another last name. That love she felt for the guy transformed into distress. Kathi really didn't know anything about her husband. The relationship didn't recover, especially because Steve's demeanor changed. From being attentive and loving, he was cold and detached. Kathi took it upon herself to fix things, so she planned a nice gift for him. Because Steve had no family left, she thought getting one of those high school yearbooks for him would be a nice idea. The person who answered the phone was Chuck, Steve's high school friend. He had some information Steve didn't bother to explain to his wife.
Chuck says he had a sister. I said, no, he didn't have any sisters or brothers. I went to school with his sister. I said, well, but you know his mom died. He said, no. I'm going, what?
He also told her Steve had a girlfriend who suspiciously took her own life after he broke things with her. Although she wanted everything buried and moved on with her marriage, she needed some help, so she started going to therapy. Steven found out, and Steven wasn't happy about that.
He started a fight, and he threw me into a wall. He said, don't F with me. I will kill you if you don't leave my past alone.
Hence the previous alibi, remember? But before Kathi could run away, he filed for divorce. Once he was out of the house, Kathi was finally free to snoop around. She called Chuck again to see what other things he knew. Well, this wasn't his first marriage, not even the second. He was still married to his previous wife. He basically pulled the "I'm gonna get some cigarettes" on his daughter's birthday. That day, he was declared missing and they started the search. Later, they found out he went on his own. Steven ruined his daughter's birthday forever.
And he went missing. He had a Honda, and he shot a bullet hole in that Honda, and of all things, he put animal blood on it.
Too much Miami Vice for him. Kathy's ego was shattered, so revenge was the next option. And because bigamy is a crime, she decided to talk to a cop about that. Funny enough, she told the detective about the toilet golden bars Steve was storing.
We had a case. The body was found in 1980 in the California aqueduct. It had the chain tied with cable ties around the hands and feet. In the investigation, he's missing gold bars, and it's an unsolved case.
It was a thief robbing another. The reason Steve left his previous family was because he killed a dude and had to run away. And guess what he did after he learned the police was after him? He ran away to Mexico. 5 years later, and a lot of push and pull from the US, Steve, aka Eric, aka whatever, was extradited and in 2002 was arrested. He pleaded guilty on involuntary manslaughter. He was 4.5 years there. He killed someone and got less than 5 years. Oh well, he died the next year of a heart attack, so there's that. Kathi could never trust herself in another relationship and lives with her 2 dogs. Unconditional love for the win. Steve stole her life with all the twists and turns, but ultimately it was Kathi who decided to believe those wacky explanations. She was the only one doing the hard work. Steve was just covering his tracks and creating new ones. That sounds exhausting. What do you think about this story? It wouldn't fly now. A simple Google search and he's done. But back in the 80s, the only method they had were the yellow pages. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. It really helps. Here is another psycho husband who concocted an alternative reality, but he just wasn't that smart. Thank you for watching.
You're pathetic.
When you wrote...
You are a pathetic human being.
When you
a
wrote...
terrible father and a worse husband.
When you
You're
wrote,
pathetic.
why do you keep